Okay, so before we start, let me preface what you're about to see. First, this was about day 10 of a 15-day road trip out west from Wisconsin to Washington, stopping in states in between. We had just finished up the Oregon coast and we're heading back east, stopping in Wyoming at Grand Teton and Yellowstone. As far as the location goes, so I actually found this location from Joe Greer's Moment class. He did a class with this company, kind of showcasing multiple different avenues of photography, from landscapes, portraits, etc. They did the class out west here in Wyoming and Montana, going to both Glacier and Grand Teton. Specifically, they went to one spot off the Snake River called Schwambecker, I believe, Landing. It's this really scenic and famous area, especially for photographers to come and take photographs of the Grand Teton Mountains reflecting in this little pond with nice trees overlooking. And so yeah, that's how I heard about it, and had been basically wanting to travel there and take photos of it since. Now, fast forward a year, we arrive at Grand Teton National Park, and I don't really have an idea of where it was. I knew the general vicinity and I knew the Snake River, but it was kind of tough to find, especially with limited internet. So the night before, I drove to the area and found it, thankfully, and just kind of scouted out. So when I showed up at 4:30 a.m., I think it was, I wouldn't be stumbling around in the dark, not knowing where to go, especially in bear country like this, which I think paid off a lot. Once I showed up in the morning, it was super easy to know where to go and what to take. So at this point, I'd shot, I think, 2 rolls of Portra 400. I wish I'd had Portra 800, but sadly I didn't have any at this point in the trip. And I also had shot half a roll of 35mm on the Contax T2. But alas, people started showing up because it is kind of a popular area. So once the sun was actually up, a lot more people showed up, which regrettably, I backtracked to a different location to shoot some different photos, but I wish I would have stayed a little longer to get more of the sun on the actual mountain peaks, but I was eager to go because of how many other people there were around me. So at this point of the trip, we were pretty much just rounding out the rest of the trip, headed home. We were strapped for time and definitely super exhausted from the trip. I know Mattie and I were definitely both ready to be home and see our cats and kind of just be able to sit on a couch, relax, and not be stuck in the 4Runner. Thankfully, during the whole trip, we watched the saga of the Bucks winning the NBA championship, so stopping at a different restaurant or bar every night to try to find the game was really entertaining as well. With that being said, we beeline back to Custer, South Dakota to try to get back home in a timely fashion. On our way home, as we were getting through the mountains, we actually got hit with quite a big rainstorm, and as we were passing through, we decided to stop and obviously take some photos. From here, we still had a solid 8 or 10 hours back to South Dakota, so it was pretty much nose to the grindstone to try to get back home. With that being said, that was pretty much the end of our journey and road trip, but we're definitely eager to get on the road more, maybe see some of the more Southwest, and I'm really excited to see some of California and some other places. That pretty much concluded the road trip and our journey, but that being said, I'm really excited how we built out the 4Runner for more adventures in the future. We really want to head southwest, go to California. We want to go to Washington again and do some of the national parks in Washington that we didn't get to do, and much more. And before I discuss the photos from Grand Teton, I want to make sure I plug the prints. So I'm offering, I think, 10 prints in varying sizes and color or black and white on my website, which will be linked down below and in the comments. All the photos are from the road trip, and the proceedings will go towards the next road trip, most likely being Southwest. And eventually I want to put together a book that captures all the photos from all these trips into one nice location. So let's get into talking about the photos. While I think there was a handful of great ones, but these 3 are the best in terms of composition, lighting, and color. I honestly wish I would have spent more time here photographing to get more of that pink sunlight on the mountaintop, but with the time crunch, I just couldn't swing it. Next up, I really like the photos of the roads, both in color and black and white. I think they contrast each other really nicely. I typically don't shoot tons of black and white, but I think with the road being wet, the contrasting colors work so much better on black and white. Likewise, during the morning golden hour, I shot the colored photo, which has much more appealing colors, so that worked out perfect. They also nicely contrast each other when sitting next to each other. As we were driving out, there was a couple photos that I really enjoyed too. This cropped in one of a buffalo looks really nice, as there's a solid distance away, but you can easily make out what they are. Also, some of the ones with my shadows and the one of Mattie are really nice too. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.